Today we are welcoming to the show someone I am very excited to speak with. He is a singer-songwriter named Wrabel. You may know him from his song that he just put out with Kesha, which is called Since I Was Young. He also co-wrote a song on the totally slept on second album by Adam Lambert, Trespassing, which I always looked at as Adam Lambert's Thriller. And it turns out that was a very important record in Wrabel's journey as he came out himself, because he is a queer icon in the making himself. So you worked with Adam Lambert, right, on Trespassing, which, just let me get on my Adam Lambert soapbox for a minute. I do this.
Get on that soapbox.
That album was so slept on. I mean, it went down in history because a lot of people don't know this little fun fact, but and I'm surprised it took till 2012, but it was the first album by an openly gay artist to debut at #1, which is crazy. But I don't think people really, I think it was a little bit ahead of its time because like he was doing stuff with Pharrell and like Nile Rodgers like a year before the Daft Punk record came out and stuff. But this was, I guess, was this kind of early in your career? You co-wrote like Nirvana, which is like the last track on the album, right?
Yeah, that was very, we actually just reconnected on a Zoom not long ago and we were kind of recounting that story. It was very early on in my, I guess, career. Career always feels weird to say, but my mom's like, you have a career.
Yeah, I think you have a career if we're talking about you like writing for like Pink and Kesha and
I guess
Brian Wilson.
It all feels weird. But yeah, it was really early on, and I remember I pulled into the studio and I was right behind him and I was just like freaking out. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, his voice is one of the best voices that exists in the world and on the whole face of the planet. It's so incredible, his control, and he's just mastered his craft. And that is so inspiring to work with because you're just in awe like the whole time. And it was really cool. I want to say I may have not been out when we wrote that song.
Really?
Again, I have no concept of time, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, the album came out in like fall of 2012. I know it was 2012. I think it was fall 2012. I don't remember the exact month, but I don't know, like in your timeline of your personal life when you came out or when you wrote that song, maybe you had that song lying around for a while but yeah.
We actually got to make that. I remember it's a day that I remember. It was at my old publisher's studio and, Adam was kind of bouncing between two rooms and he would just come in and be like, you know what? I had just come out because I remember talking about my boyfriend and kind of pulling from that and the kind of escape of that. I bet I had just come out.
Wow.
Because I was like getting kicked out of the church and it was all very dramatic and traumatic. But I remember that song really meant a lot. And to get to work with someone who was out and proud was, you know, it's that thing when you can see yourself in someone else that's doing it and you're like, oh, maybe I'll be okay.
Yeah, more than okay. And how kind of kismet it was that, as I said, you know, you had just come out and this is an early recording you get on an album that ends up going down in LGBTQ plus history. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how it took till 2012 for that record to be set, but it was set by Trespassing and you were a part of that. So that's really cool.
That is really cool. I don't even know that I ever put that together. I'm going to have a moment later where I'm like, whoa. And it's due, I think, a lot to people like Adam Lambert. And I remember the day Sam Smith released his first public statement and I was on an airplane with my manager and I was in tears of just like, oh, the world is changing.
Troye Sivan is a big one as well.
Yeah. It's been so inspiring to see people just not even being unafraid because I am sure I know the fear that I felt and I'm sure that all the people we just named have felt massive, massive fear. But, you know, I hope they know that they have paved the way for millions and millions of people. And with Adam too, like I've always respected how he didn't hold stuff back, even when it was very taboo, even it was very kind of like when people are watching going, oh no.
There were people who thought at the American Music Awards, which was like about 10 years ago now, I think the 10th anniversary was last year, actually, they thought his career was over then because he kissed a guy on TV. I remember that. People were like, because it was like right after American Idol. So obviously that's a pretty conservative show. I didn't even think he was going to get as far on American Idol as he did. Not because obviously of a lack of talent. He's like the best person that's ever been on that show. But because I was like, even though he wasn't saying he was gay on the show, it was like kind of known or obvious, or there were like leaked MySpace photos of him kissing his boyfriend or whatever. And I was like, oh, America's not going to vote for this guy. He's too weird. He's too gay. And he didn't win, but he went to really far. He went to second place and, you know, is one of the most successful people to come out of that show. So I guess things are changing a little bit. But people thought after the AMAs, they were like, he's done.